There we are. So thanks everyone for joining us for one of our webinars. I'm Dr. Mike Bevilacqua, a nephrologist and our chronic kidney disease group. This is one of our webinars, and today we're going to be talking all about home dialysis. Before we get started, although we're all coming from different parts of the province, I think it's great to remember, where it is that we're each coming from. Myself, I come from the traditional and unceded territory of the Katsi, Semiahmoo, Kwantlen, and some other Coast Salish peoples. And I think it's great if we all reflect on which part of this great province, and maybe even beyond, you're joining us from here today. So as I mentioned, this is one of a series of webinars. So, welcome everybody. If this is your first one, fantastic. We're very, very happy to see you. If this is a returning customer, if you've been to many of them before, welcome back. Just as a reminder, there are many of these available, and this part shows our website on the BC Renal website. If you go to BC Renal, just type that in, you'll see all of this here. You'll see that we have a whole section about patient webinars. You'll be able to see the previous ones. You'll be able to get information about the upcoming webinars. And this one as well, there will be a recording, which will be up, usually in a week or two, in case you want to go back and watch anything a second time. There's also this handy little button here on the side that says subscribe now, that if you click that, you'll actually get a notification every time one of these is coming up live, so you can make sure to attend that one. A few housekeeping items, again, if you're new to our webinars, is we are recording this, and so as a result, we've made it so that we can't hear or see anybody for privacy reasons. So you can hear and see us, but we can't hear or see you. But we do want you to get your questions in. And the way that we have you do that is by going on the Q&A box. So there's the two little ones there on Zoom. One says chat, one says Q&A. So you want the Q&A, the one with the two speech bubbles. And if you type your question in there, we'll collect them. And then when there's a break or a time in the presentation for it, we'll go through those questions. The one extra little item I always tell people is that if it's very specific to you and your own medical situation, that I might rephrase it in a way that's more general, and suggest that you go back and talk about your individual question with your individual care team. But otherwise, yes, please do get the questions in. It's a great part of the webinar here. So the purpose of our talk today, we're going to be talking all about home dialysis. So we're going to be talking about the two different options that people have to do dialysis at home if they're at the point where their kidneys have failed. And those two options are peritoneal dialysis and home hemodialysis. Some of you may have had some sessions about this with your home kidney teams, or you may have sessions upcoming. This specifically, it's not to replace those sessions. The whole goal here is to give you some background information, some things to think through, so then when the time comes, you've got a lot of information and you're ready to have a good discussion with your own kidney team to work through and find what's going to be the best fit for you. My general plug as to why we advertise this to all kidney clinic patients, even if it's before the point which you'd be talking about this, is it's just great to plan ahead. Your kidneys being a very, very vital organ and their function being so important, it can lead to quite a lot of issues if you get to the point where you're at your kidneys have failed and they're no longer working any longer. And since we're fortunate enough to have different options available there, the whole goal here is to help you go through the process of determining what's going to be the best fit for you as an individual. Thinking about what's important to you, what plans you might want to have in place, and how we know that we're going to find something that's the right fit for the right person. And that's really the goal as we talk about these different options. As the last little reminder, we do have actually more options available than just what we're going to be talking about here. And we actually do have other webinars available on that website we showed a moment ago if you're interested in seeing those as well. So you can see the ones we're talking about today are our home dialysis treatment types, peritoneal dialysis and home hemodialysis. But all those other ones, transplant, facility-based hemodialysis, and conservative management of kidney failure, we've got webinars and sessions available, as well as a webinar that kind of gives you a bird's eye view of all of them all at one time. So just another little plug to look at those other webinars there. But otherwise, at this point, I'm going to start handing it over to our team. We're really, really fortunate here that we've got two different groups coming from Fraser Health to talk about these two different treatments. To talk about peritoneal dialysis, we have Katie and we have Norm, who's a patient who has a personal experience with peritoneal dialysis, and they're going to take us through that. And then similarly for home hemodialysis, we've got one of our nurses, Sarah, and our patient Val, who's going to take us through their experience with that process. Now, right, it was peritoneal dialysis. For a second there, I blanked which one we're starting with. With that, we're going to start with peritoneal dialysis. I'm going to stop this here, and we'll turn it over to Katie to get started.